All right, good evening and welcome back, everybody. We've been off for a week, but we are back here again in TCR, Trinity Competitive Racing Season 10, and we are here tonight with the Golden Class for Round 8 in Austria, the Red Bull Ring. It is one hell of a track. It is very exciting. It's very quick. It is pretty much the quickest lap time that you can get in Formula 1 today, so it is very exciting. And so far, we've had a really good silver race last night. Here again, it's Golden Class, and in the booth with you guys tonight, myself, BLIN-MACHINE, and also Broom Handle in the co-seat. How you doing, Broom? You haven't been around for a little bit, but you're back in TCR again.
Super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me once again here at TCR, Trinity Competitive Racing. Super happy to be back, and of course, super happy to be at one of the best tracks on the Formula 1 calendar. Of course, this is the shortest track on the calendar with only 10 turns to its name. But don't let that get in the way of thinking that it's not going to have great overtaking. There's amazing overtaking spots, especially down in like turn 1, turn 3, and turn number 4. But yeah, super excited to be back here, and especially excited to be back with Golden Class.
Yeah, this Golden Class so far this season has been pretty much the closest runners that we've had, and also a lot of competitive drivers on this particular class. And on this track, as you said, there's so many nice overtaking spots. Also with the DRS zones all over the place, with the straights all over the place on this track, it definitely adds to the excitement of it all and makes overtaking a little bit easier. Watching on board right now with Ossio, who's coming through the end of the second sector, setting that one into purple, and now about to go through the last couple of corners on this track. Again, this season we are running the regular rules on this particular track, so we are allowing the drivers to use all of the curb, and Ossio definitely uses all of the curb on the outside of turn 10, and he sets the fastest lap so far in the qualifying session here with a 103.4. I'm sure that time is going to start tumbling down a little bit later, but I'm looking out for, I guess, the one and only Flying Jippo. He has just been dominating this season, sitting at the top of the table with 116 points right now, followed by Z-Grease with 83, Aerofizen with 64, Ossio, the man we just saw there, finishing up a lap. He actually has 73 points, so he's actually in third place. I'm not sure why the standings are a little bit jumbled up there, but basically we are already seeing some of the fastest drivers in the standings being also the fastest so far in qualifying. Now, Broom, just to ask you, in terms of the strategy, last night in silver, everyone ran the soft tires in qualifying, and then only a couple of runners started on the medium. What do you think is the best strategy here tonight?
Well, I mean, you mentioned Silver Class went for that soft to medium strategy, and the softs, they started on the soft compound tires, and I think around Austria, a lot of people go into thinking that turn 1 is going to be absolutely a nightmare, and they don't want to risk going on those medium tires unless they get damaged or something like that. So I think that's why they mainly go for the soft tires. But, I mean, TCR is the pinnacle of racing leagues, and so maybe these guys are just trusting their competitive drivers around them. And so, I mean, I think what's going to happen is a lot of these guys are going to go for the starting the mediums and going to the hards. But I think it also depends on the pace as well. In my particular opinion for strategies, I like to go for a medium to hard strategy. Of course, we're running the 50% race, and that's probably the best strategy, is that's a long distance of driving. And so one-stop strategy is probably the best strategy, but also this is a very, very quick track, and so a softs, maybe medium soft, might be the best option as well.
We're going to have to wait and see what our drivers are going to do here tonight in the Golden Class. Again, this is round 8 in Austria. It is a very quick track. Let's watch as Bam Bam here is going to the end of Sector 2. He is very much down and away from all the rest of the times on the board. He was 2.7 seconds slower than the current lead of Fuzz, who's actually jumped into first position, provisional pole right now with a 103.346. So very, very close to Ossio. Joshua is very close behind them as well in 10th. D'Angelo are coming out on an outlap. So people are not waiting around on this Austrian Grand Prix in qualifying. Do you think starting position here is going to matter a lot?
Definitely. Starting here is something that, or starting high here is something you want to do, because once you come into turn 1, turn 3 section, like once you get out of turn 3, then you just pull away. And I mean, whoever's in first place, once they get that gap, they'll be perfect for the rest of the race. So I think starting first, second, third, around there is probably the best strategy for going around here. But I mean, like, in the past, we've seen drivers in the virtual world and the real-time world start from further down the grid. And of course, here at TCR Gold class, there's a lot of competitive drivers that are probably not going to be starting out first. I mean, because of course, there is so many drivers out there that are absolutely phenomenal, and so they won't be starting first, second, third. They'll probably maybe be starting like sixth. And so there's drivers like that that could go up there. So for instance, like Max Verstappen, of course, he had that issue in 2018, I think it was. But still, or no, it was 2019, sorry, still won the race, and I think he started second. So starting on like that third, second area is an option for drivers to possibly get the win, but I think the best strategy is to start from pole here, or at least lead into turn 3.
Alright, so Asio is coming up the hill right now into what the track officially calls turn 2, but we really call turn 2 this one right here, and it's a big one. You gotta slam on the brakes and then come out in second gear and try to hold the back from trying to overtake your car on the exit of the corner, but Asio does a great job there, opening up the DRS, running into turn 4. This one is a nice right-hander. It flows through, but he touches the grass on the outside there. That is definitely gonna lose him a tiny little bit of time there, getting a really nice wide entrance into turn 6 right now, and now turn 7, finishing up that second sector, 4/10 down on Fuzz. So this lap is not really going to help him out much. Yellow flag there for Bam Bam, who's getting into the pits and getting out of everybody's way. Asio is going to go into the pits as well, and he's going to abandon that one. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for him on that first try. Intent goes super wide in turn 1 and runs the corner completely there. Has to get out of everybody's way. Pretty much parked out on the exit of the corner. Not helping himself. Tugor through the grass now too. And he is invalidated that particular lap. I am very worried for him not getting disqualified there. As long as he doesn't spin, he should be okay. But he's going to have to get back into the pits and fit a better set of tires, because that one's going to be full of grass. Fuzz improves his time, 103.336. So just a tiny little bit of improvement, but it's enough right now to hold down the first provisional pole position. TCR Jones here, 103.569, coming up the hill into turn 3. Getting a really wide exit there, running the corner wide, and he is going to have to abandon that one. So what I'm seeing so far is some drivers having a little bit of trouble staying within the bounds of the track, even though we're allowing for regular corner cutting rules. I guess that's not enough.
Well, for around here, it's very different. I mean, like, even if you have regular corner cutting rules, drivers do tend to go very wide. I mean, I just remember racing here just a few weeks ago, I do believe, in another league, and just having to, and it was on regular corner cutting, and it was super hard to keep it in the lines, you know, even though it was regular. So, I mean, the stewards are going to be looking out for a lot of these incidents. So if the drivers go super wide, they could get a penalty, and that could impact their race quite a bit. And so I think it's going to be interesting. And I think a lot of things that these drivers are... A lot of the reasons why these drivers might be going a little bit wide is because of the braking zones. Turn 1 or turn 3 or turn 2 as we call it, they're both heavy braking zones. And actually turn 1 you would say is not a heavy braking zone, but you have to brake quite a bit and make sure you're in the line. So both of those areas and many more areas of the track are places that drivers can go very wide, and that could really affect the race, not just now, but in the future with penalties as well.
Stanley improves to 6th position so far. Joshua, his teammate, is finishing up his out lap. So let's walk you through a full lap around here. He's just crossing the line right now and running up the hill into turn 1 with a sun glare. You can't see your braking spot. Let's see if he's going to spot it. He spots it perfectly, getting the wide run on both of the apexes on the inside and the outside of turn 1. And now on the run through turn 2, which is just completely flat out, obviously. And now turn 3, a hard right-hander locking up the inside wheel there, getting good rotation there, but a little bit slow on the acceleration out of the exit is Joshua, and now opening up the DRS and running down the hill into turn 4. He's gonna have a little bit of traffic there. Seems like somebody had a little bit of an incident in front of him. Yellow flags are waving, but he makes a really good run through turn 4 and through turn 5 now, and turn 6. Very nice run. Now coming into turn 7, it's Stanley, his own teammate. He's now purple in the second sector there, Joshua. Very impressive, running way too wide on the outside of that corner there, but still managing to keep them together and not spinning out. And now, cutting the penultimate corner a little bit too wide there, and that is going to be his lap over, and he pulls into the pits. We've got Stanley, who's running into the pits with no gas right now. Osseo has just come out for his out lap, and his teammate TCR Jones, who's currently sitting in 7th, it looks like they might be thinking of running a little bit of slipstreaming here between the two teammates.
This is going to be interesting. I mean, the two McLarens, if they can play this right, they can get a really good advantage off of this for the slipstream, and that's crucial for around here because this is such a fast track, so that will work out beautifully for them. Our race lead, or our provisional pole position man at the moment, Fuzzliam's just coming in for a flying lap. Do you want me to do the onboard of him?
So we've got almost 6 minutes left in this qualifying session here. Osseo is about getting ready to start another hot lap here and trying to beat Fuzz to that pole position. As we mentioned, it is not absolutely crucial here, but it's definitely going to help you out if you want to take the win here today. So far, Flying Jippo is down in 17th, our championship leader, so he is not really putting on a massive fight for the pole position. And as I say that, he goes up into a 102.886, and that's pole position so far.
Wow, what a lap by Flying Jippo, our championship leader. Red Bull take it to the top step at the moment with a 102.886. That is incredible. The only person to go into the 102s, but qualifying's not over. 5 minutes remain. We still have many drivers on fast laps. Fuzzliam looks like he backed off of that lap, so he was on a flying lap. Looks like he made a mistake somewhere. But what a lap by Flying Jippo to go pole position at the moment for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Yes, very impressive time there, but I'll tell you what, Osseo just went through the second sector and he set a purple one through there. So now he's coming up to the end of his lap here, coming up to the DRS zone and up to the line now. He only gets up to second, yeah, 103.3. So it looks like Flying Jippo is in the league of his own at the moment. He's almost 5 tenths clear.
Yeah, that's impressive from Flying Jippo. 102 already, and not just like a 102.9 or 103 dead. He's in a 108 or a 102.8. So that's quick by the Red Bull driver. He's already up in the first place, and I mean Osseo couldn't beat that. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can topple our championship leader. I mean, there's lots of drivers out there that can. I mean, TCR Jones got some pace. Bam Bam, Stanley, Mr. Joshua had a lot of good pace here today. They're all within that 7th through 10th area. And I can tell you there's a lot of drivers out there that could have a lot of pace. Stanley's just coming through an out lap right now, just starting on his flying lap. So we'll see what he can do as well, as he's one of those drivers I mentioned.
And I am watching his teammate, Mr. Joshua. He's just set a purple second sector as well. It wasn't by much, but he is currently now on a very good lap. Let's see how much he can take away from his rivals right now. Ooh, running super wide on the exit of turn 10 there and coming across the line. Now he's second with a 103.1. So I'll tell you what, he's beating that group of Osseo, Fuzz, Intent, Zegrease, those guys who are in the 103.3, 103.4, 103.5s. Flying Jippo and Mr. Joshua are definitely a little bit ahead of those guys. Now 3 minutes left in qualifying, so I'm expecting a lot of people to start coming out there and trying to set some laps. Stanley is actually coming up to the end of the second sector just in a moment there, coming through turn 4 and now into turn 5. And let's see what sort of a time is he going to post there. Looks like the Renaults are pretty quick here tonight. D'Angelo has retired from the session. He is in 12th place. He ran wide through the exit there of turn 7, so he has decided to abandon it. Stanley doing quite well, about to finish this lap in just a couple more corners, getting a little bit of traffic in front of him, but I'm sure he'll be okay. M98 Racing pulls off into the pits. Through the last corner goes Stanley, opens up the DRS, and from currently in 8th, he goes, no, he stays in 8th place.
I think he backed off from that lap. You can tell he was kind of going slower to the last 2 corners, so I think this is where we're going to see his flying lap. That still was an okay lap for Stanley, I got to say, at the first part, so maybe he had some issues when it came to the final part. But now he's got a lot of traffic, because he looks like he's going to try and go for his flying lap now, but there's a lot of traffic in front of him, so hopefully he can get a good lap.
I'm watching as Fuzz is coming up the hill, up into turn 3 right now, slamming on the brakes, rotates the car beautifully, no lockup, getting a really nice exit, but he stayed in 3rd gear there, and he's upshifting, short shifting through the gears all the way up to 8th. I've seen a lot of drivers do that before. I guess it's all about their driving style, and some of them think that they get a little bit of a better traction, especially since these guys in Golden, of course, are running no assist except for Racing Line. They don't have any traction control, they don't have the ABS turned on, they don't have anything else to help them out. Fuzz is quickest through 2nd sector, but only by 9 thousandths of a second. So that's how close it is, and that's how close it's been all throughout the season. I'm sure nobody wants to give an inch to anyone else. Fuzz through the last corner right now, opens up the DRS, running up to the line. He's improving to 3rd place. Let's see who else is out there on the flying lap. It looks like Flying Jippo is coming up into turn 3 right now, closes that DRS flap, rotates the car up the hill there. Beautiful rotation, gets back onto the power. He's fully utilizing those gears, getting up all the way up to the limiter with the DRS open as well. Of course, we don't have any more engine modes to play around with this year, or ERS modes. You only have the overtake button, but that is fully turned up to hot lap mode in qualifying, so definitely all the battery is being utilized on that car. Flying Jippo through the 2nd sector. He is not the quickest through the 2nd sector. He is down by 23 thousandths of a second, and now there's a little bit of rain showing up on screen, so this weather might ruin the party for everyone who might have thought of putting in a really late lap time in the qualifying here. Flying Jippo comes up to the line. He stays first, and he does not improve his time. Fuzz is about to finish his lap. He's currently in 3rd with the rain coming in. He's going into the pits. Asio going into the pits. Jones looks like he has abandoned his lap as well. So it looks like everyone has decided to abandon their laps, obviously because of the weather coming in.
Segrist is coming up the line. He's been on a phenomenal lap, goes P4 with a 103.2. That rain, I think, affected him quite a bit and affected everyone else. They went into the pits, so I don't think anyone will be going on pole position. But yeah, Segrist was on a flyer, really, really competitive through all the way up to about turn 4, but that's when the rain started hitting. I'm surprised the rain actually started coming in when it came to the final few minutes of qualifying.
Well, Austria is very unpredictable for weather. We know that from real life F1. So we can definitely expect possibly maybe a little bit of weather. Oh, Flying Jippo cannot even complete his finishing lap there, touching the grass and almost spinning out the car. And now he has spun out and into the wall. So yeah, this is showing you how much this weather has affected the grip on the track. Pretty much nobody has grip anymore. Bam Bam almost smashing into the back of Flying Jippo there, and now he gets out of the way of a Mercedes. Wow, that was very exciting, and I don't know what to expect in the race now in terms of weather. We might get a little bit of rain, and that might spice things up. I personally do like wet races. I think it brings out a lot of driver skill that you wouldn't otherwise see. DRS has now been disabled, so this is where you know that the conditions are definitely too wet for those slick tires, and qualifying is now over, so that is it. Flying Jippo in first place with a 102.886, a beautiful lap from him. The only person in the 102s, everyone else in the 103s. Mr. Joshua in second, putting that Renault up with a 103.1. Fuzz 103.278, and then Zegrease 103.299, sorry, and very, very close behind everyone else. Asio 103.307, so the gap between second and 8th is only about 0.4 of a second.
Absolutely incredible. I think that was probably one of the best qualifying sessions I've seen in a long time. Really competitive, and I think we've seen some very exciting racing here today, and you were mentioning just second through, I think it's eighth, is about just a few tenths of a second. So absolutely incredible. Looking for a phenomenal race, because I mean, qualifying is done, but we have more to look forward to when it comes to the race in these 36 laps that await us. And I think I want to mention something real quick, is that a lot of drivers say, when also rain is coming inbound too, I'll get to that in a second, but a lot of drivers say that Austria is the easiest track on the calendar, and in my opinion, I think it is up there, maybe top 3 as one of the easiest tracks, but honestly, it is actually not. There's a lot of turns around here that are extremely difficult, and I know it's the shortest track on the Formula 1 calendar, but those turns are very, very, very hard to get right sometimes. So I think we're going to see a really, really good race when it comes down to overtaking, when it comes down to racecraft itself, and even if there's some rain, because we've seen it here in qualifying, if there's going to be some rain in the race, it will not just bring us some incredible racing and complete control from every single one of these drivers. It will also bring us in for an extremely phenomenal strategy when it comes down to those intermediates or wets, but we'll have to wait and see how the race ends up.
So a quick rundown here: Flying Jippo in first, Joshua in second, Fuzz in third, Zegrease in fourth, Asio in fifth, TCR Jones in sixth, and 10th and seventh, Gold Raider in eighth, Ben Swerven in ninth, Chargers in 10th, Stanley 11th, M9H Racing 12th, Bam Bam 13th, D'Angelo 14th, RC7, and I think it was Aero Fizzed in 17th there. We've got a couple of other people on the grid. We'll run through them again before we get going here. But thank you guys for everybody who's already tuning in into the stream. I see quite a few people here tonight coming back from the break. We were off last week. All 3 classes did not race, but we are back this week with all 3 classes. And talking of all 3 classes, tomorrow is probably the most exciting race that we have this season. It is the 3rd running of the TCR Grand Prix here in Austria again. This is going to be the 2nd year that we've run it in Austria. The first one was in Monaco, but we've decided to spice things up to make, just the Grand Prix a little bit more exciting, a little bit more overtaking for you guys to watch on track. I think it's going to be a really, really good one. Go-To Guy is a defending champion from last year. He managed to win it after a couple of drivers who were leading came together on the last lap. So it's crazy exciting. There's a little bit of a different qualifying format. It also allows for a lot of additional points to be gained in qualifying. It's going to be a Q1, Q3, Q2, Q3 elimination sort of format, but there's also going to be some additional points up for grabs for the podium finishers. So tune in for that as well, but keep on watching our stream here. We're getting ready for the drivers to get on for their formation lap here tonight in round 8 for the golden class of TCR Season 10. And Broomhandle, what can we expect from Austria here tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal race. Super, super excited to see a racecraft here, because of course Austria is one of, I think I gotta say, it's probably my best, or my favorite place to watch overtaking. So super excited to see how this works out. Super excited to see what strategies these guys go on. I mean, like, there's a lot of drivers out there that are planning for that softs to even mediums as well. I mean, like Stanley, we know how fast he is. He's the leader of those different compound of tires. What can he do? And I've noticed a lot of drivers out there that were not at the top of the table where I was expecting. Drivers like Bam Bam, Aerofist, who are high up in the championship, they're down in 13th, 16th. So we'll see what they can do. I think we're going to have a really good race, not just from them, but from every single one of these drivers. And I mean, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. What will happen with the top drivers, we'll have to see how that goes. Do you want me to quickly do a rundown on the grid, or Blin, do you want to do that before we get into the race?
Yeah, I just wanted to really run down the ones that we missed out on. Dre in 20th, You Having the Giggle in 19th, Red Wing, who's starting on the hard tire. That's going to be very exciting there for him. He's the only one running on the hard tire, but it might work out for him if he can manage to make it work until, lap around 29 or 30. He can then jump onto the soft and definitely put in some really nice and quick laps. We have McLaren P1 in 17th, Aerofizzen in 16th, RC7 in 15th, we've got D'Angelo in 14th, and then we pretty much ran the rest of them there from Flying Jippo leading up the pack. Joshua in 2nd, Fuzz in 3rd, Zegrease in 4th, Asio 5th, TCR Jones, his teammate, right behind them in 10th and 7th. Gold Raider in 8th, Ben Swerven in 9th, Chargers in 10th, Stanley in 11th, M9H Racing, Bam Bam in 12th and 13th. So let's get ready here. They're all lining up on the grid. As Brew mentioned, we've got a few runners on that medium tire, from Stanley all the way down to RC7 in 15th. Those are all on mediums. Then a couple of guys on softs, a hard runner, another soft, and another medium. So they are gonna get mixed up in the pack here, and that might get very, very exciting very quickly. So they're lined up on the grid right now. The lights are about to go. We're getting ready for this Austrian Grand Prix here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights are on. The lights are off here in Austria, and we go racing for round 8 of Golden Class. It's a very good start there from Flying Jippo. He gets very far ahead there. Behind him, there's already a fight for second place between Joshua Zegrees and Fuzz. Oh my goodness, a big incident. Big incident towards the back. It's Gold Raider and Chargers all involved in that as well. M9H Racing has lost a massive part of his front wing. We've got a VSC.
Yeah, looks like both of them spun. Didn't see exactly what happened. It looked like they may have been hit or actually even spun. But it looks like it was Chargers and Gold Raider. So, yeah, interesting to see that. And M9H looks like he was also involved as well. They're all missing front wings, so that is super unfortunate for them. But for the rest of the pack, really good start. Jippo, what a phenomenal start he had at that start of the Grand Prix. He's about, I mean, with the VSC it's a little bit different now, but he was about a second ahead of Fuzzlium, who's got up to second place. So really good start for the Red Bull, but not good start for those bottom 3 drivers. And yeah, it's going to hopefully be a good race for not just all the rest of these guys, but for those 3 drivers as well, because the race is not over. We'll have to see if they can get a good result.
Yeah, so a big tangle there, and M9H Racing is having trouble just making it through the lap. We're back into green flag racing now, and there goes Zegrees trying to make a move on Joshua, and he makes that move, and he goes a little bit wide on the exit of that corner, but he makes it stick, and he's up into 5th place right now, and that was a very nice move. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. Looks like Dre has had an issue, and he has spun out, and he's on the grass. But Joshua here thinking about an overtake instead. Intent goes up his inside into turn 3, and Intent promotes himself up into 4th place. Joshua losing a couple of positions there in just a couple of corners.
Wow, Intent's already up to 4th place, and yeah, you're saying Joshua lost a position there to Intent, so Intent just really sent it, and he's not done there. He's all over the back of Zegrees now, and this is going to be interesting. I could see a battle for 2nd place right now, because looks like Flying Jippo is really just pulling away with this, so Intent's on the move, and I think everyone else is on the move as well. So, and also I want to quickly mention the 2 McLarens did not have a good start. ACO and TCR Jones already down to 6th and 7th. Oh, that's Mr. Joshua off the track. It looks like almost spun at turn 9 there.
Ooh, we didn't see exactly what happened there, but now he is thinking of going up the inside of Osseo there into turn 1, or at least thinking about it for a second, pulling back behind him and sticking up. Now we've got DRS already enabled. We're already on lap 3. This is how quick this track is. It's just a little bit over a minute. It's just a couple of seconds over a minute here when you're in qualifying, like Flying Jippo was. But definitely very quick lap. So we're already on lap 3. We've got DRS enabled. There's a little bit of a train here going on from Zegrees, Intent, Osseo, Joshua, and Jones. All of them sticking within a second of each other. So they all have the advantage of that DRS and possibly overtake whenever they choose to use it to overtake the guys in front. Behind them, D'Angelo is sticking very close to Bam Bam. Ben Swerven and Stanley are sticking to the back of them. So it's almost like a double train in the midfield. And these guys are all fighting for points here, all the way up to Ben Swerven right now, who's in 10th position.
Yes, D'Angelo made a fantastic move on Ben and got past. Now he's all over the back of Bam Bam. Had a really good exit off of, I do believe it was turn 3, and almost overtook him into turn 4. So D'Angelo's got some pace now, and now he comes on to lap 4, so he's looking for that incredible move. Ben is flying down the positions, actually, because Stanley's now overtaken him. So hopefully Ben can get back in the action, because Stanley is flying right now and looking to get involved in that Delangelo battle. Speaking of that battle, Racing Point goes down the inside, breaks the 100-meter mark, and they're side by side going into turn 3. Is the Mercedes going to yield? He does, but actually Bam Bam looks to have a very good exit off of that corner. Is he going to get involved in that Racing Point and get back up in 8th? We'll have to see how this works out. Side by side, almost as he's looking to go side by side, but unfortunately does not. Locks up again, and Bam Bam is down to 9th.
Wow, this is getting extremely exciting. Now Stanley is right side by side with Ben Swerven there. They got very, very close, and Stanley overtook Ben Swerven, so he's now the last position holder, running up into 10th place there. Looking up into the front, we've got a nice little battle all the way up into 2nd place. Zegris and Intent are keeping the pressure up on Fuzz in 2nd. Flying Jippo is 1.6, almost 1.7 seconds ahead of both of them. So this is turning out to be another dominant race so far for Flying Jippo. However, he has had a couple of unlucky moments before after making a pit stop. I'm not going to count this as another win for him just yet, but so far so good. 1.7 seconds ahead still, and Intent trying to put the pressure on Seagrease there into turn 3, not quite making it work, losing a little bit of time. Now he's got the DRS open and not going to be close enough on this one. Is Joshua going to be close enough on Osseo? I don't think so either. We've got another incident.
Oh, Aerofist and Ben made contact, looks like.
Yeah, lucky enough, none of them have any sort of damage, but they've dropped a few positions. Speaking of position changes, let's take a look here. So, Fuzz has gained a position, Zegrease has gained a position off the start, Intent 3 positions up, Osseo exactly where he started, Joshua 4 positions up, Jones, 4 positions down, Jones 1 position down, and then Bam Bam and D'Angelo each gained 5 positions off the start. We've got another one off there, it's RC7. RC7 has spun the car, yeah. I think he spun it, what was that, the exit of turn 6 or 7 there?
I do believe that was turn 7 or possibly even turn 8. Not sure exactly what happened. Looks like he may have just spun on his own. But now he's off. I don't think he picked up any damage. Oh, that's Gold Raider out of the race. And that's also an AlphaTauri. That looks to be McLaren. I do believe that's McLaren P1 off the track. And the full course safety car is out.
Oh my goodness, that has just turned in a second there. I just caught the McLaren P1 spinning out. It looks like he has a puncture on the back wheel, or at least it looked like it for a second. It might have just been dirt, but yeah, he had some sort of a moment with Gold Raider, and Gold Raider has retired from the race, and we have a safety car here. So let's look at the leaders. Are they all going to be coming into the pits, do you think? This is pretty good time, lap 6.
Ooh, this is interesting. I think if it came out like 2 laps later, it'd be absolutely perfect. But now, I think this is perfect. I think these guys will pit, and it looks like they were going to do that exact same thing. So the top 4 and probably almost the entire pack will pit. And now this is where it comes into the strategy race. I always say that this is the best point, is when you have these soft tires, and this is when it kind of gets interesting. It's all about down to the team, what they can do, and it's also down to the driver when they can release that button. So they might get a little bit of a change in positions. And also, look at this. The 2 McLarens stayed out, and that's interesting. I'm curious to see what they're going to do here for the 2 McLarens. I mean, like, ACO leading TCR Jones. And, I mean, what is McLaren thinking? Because it's not just one driver staying out, it's both. So McLaren's staying out. But also, all the drivers that were kind of leading the pack, they've all pitted for hards. Now, I'm going to swipe this conversation over to Blin. Blin, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think these hard tires can last to the end of the race?
I was honestly, itching to speak about that because, I saw all of them going for that hard tire. It wasn't just Flying Jippo and Zegrease, it was everybody who pitted all went for the hard tires. And right now we have more hard tire runners than anyone else in this race. And I'm not sure if this is, I think they're probably committing to a 2-stop at this point, possibly, because maybe you can carry them all the way up to about, lap 34, but honestly, it's so hard to say. They might be able to do it. I mean, somebody like Flying Jippo, if he's able to keep those tires going, he might be able to do it, but for the rest of the field, I'm not sure if this is going to be it. But again, this is Austria. You can't really call anything here because it's so unexpected. We could still have weather come in out of nowhere. We could have somebody have a puncture. More incidents are obviously possible here. We're only on lap 8 and we've already had a VSC and a safety car. We have one retiree already in Golderator, so I really don't know, but it's definitely an interesting move to go for the hot tire. It can definitely last if you make it work, but how much can you really make it work?
It's going to be interesting, and I'm super interested to see how long these tires will last, because I mean I haven't really had experience with these safety car that's been kind of this early, and to the point where these drivers are putting for the hards, and this is going to be really interesting. I'm really interested because the thing is that if it was like one or two drivers, I would think that maybe they're losing a little positions because those tires are much harder, and so compared to the softs or the mediums. But it's mostly everyone out there, and so I think they're all going to have similar pace, and of course these are mostly the leaders.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be really interesting to see how this works out, and I'm really, really interested to see what exactly happens. And also they could be maybe begging on a safety car to come out later on. That could be something to think about, but I think it's more of the case that they're thinking of probably staying on those hards for quite a while. We'll have to see how that works out, but yeah, super interested to see how this works out.
Absolutely, and just again, a huge shout out to everybody who's watching. Keep those comments coming in. Let us know what else you think we might expect in this race, or who do you think is going to end up on the podium here tonight? Is it going to be Flying Jip, who has been dominating this season so far, or are we going to have other people who are going to put up a fight for him? Now, the biggest question that I'm having right now, and I just figured this out, what are Ossio and Jones going to do? I mean, the safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. Most likely, the whole bunch is nice and packed up together. So I mean, I don't know what I would do if I were in this position right now. You're 8 laps on that soft tire in Austria, where the soft doesn't last you for more than maybe 9 or 10 at most, but they're not going to be quick at the restart. Broom, do you think Bam Bam or D'Angelo or Stanley on those medium tires might have the advantage right now at the restart?
This is going to be interesting, and actually I've been thinking about this strategy ever since we started talking about them, the two McLaren drivers, and I actually think it's not down to strategy here of tires. I don't think it's down to tire strategy, and you might be thinking, like, are you crazy? Why would it? I mean, those tires are going to degrade at some point, but I think what's going to happen, and this is an interesting thing, McLaren have put themselves in a very good position right here, because what I think is happening is, if they're in the same party, and if they're talking to each other, maybe is TCR Jones going to hold up the rest of the field so Ossio can get away, and maybe they're preying on the rest of the field to kind of crash each other's out, like the leaders like Flying Jippo, Fuzzlium. So is that their strategy, or is it something different? It's really interesting to think about that. So we'll have to see how that works out. But the safety car is in this lap. We'll see what McLaren does. We'll see what the rest of the field does as we head into these more laps of this phenomenal Golden Class race.
Let's get back to normal racing here in just a moment after that safety car was brought out for Golderator crashing out, but it is completely reset the race now. Everybody has pitted and gotten some tires. Ossio almost losing the car there on the exit of the penultimate corner, having to run wide. Now TCR Jones has a good run, but Bam Bam has a massive run on both of them. He's going around the outside. Is he going to dive the inside of Ossio? He's not. He's going to wait for it. He goes up into second place, so very close with Jones. Jones gets overtaken by Stanley and D'Angelo and Flying Jippo, all of them going through there. So right off the bat, McLaren are just completely burnt out on those soft tires. And here comes you having a giggle up the inside of Jones up into turn 4 as well, into turn 3, sorry. And let's see if that's going to work out for him. Not quite there. They're still side by side. They're going to be going downhill. I'll tell you who else is side by side there. We've got massive battles for second place right now with D'Angelo and Bam Bam and Flying Jippo, or battling for it. But look at Flying Jippo on that hard tire after making a pit stop from those softs. He is up into 4th place right now. He's having Stanley go around his outside right now, battling side by side again as they're coming through turn 8 right now. It is super tight, but Flying Jippo keeps the 4th position for now. But this is a massive battle going on here. This is absolutely incredible. Ossio is now 1.5 seconds ahead, so he's not having too much trouble on that old soft tire, but his teammate Jones had absolutely no chance there. He comes D'Angelo trying to overtake Bam Bam into turn 1. Is this going to work out for him?
Bam Bam locks up. And D'Angelo can't make the move, but look, this also Flying Jippo on faster tires, hard tires that are 3 laps old. He has the advantage here to get ahead, and this is crucial for him if he gets ahead, as we have an AlphaTauri that looks to be McLaren P1 at the same section as Stanley. Goes around the outside. What a beautiful move by Stanley, as well as second and third are battling out, but Stanley into fourth now. Wow, what a move by the Renault.
Incredible racing here at the restart after the safety car. It is always tight there. Oh my goodness, and now you having a giggle, and TCR Jones having another battle, and you having a giggle finally makes it up. And now Flying Jippo and Stanley side by side through turn, I think is 7 there. Through turn 6 and now through turn 7, side by side still.
Close.
Flying Jippo manages to get ahead, still keeping 4th position, but this is getting very, very tight. Somebody is off. It looks like RC7. No, it's Fuzz. Oh no, Fuzz is completely off. He's into the gravel there, so he's not having a good time on that hard tire. DRS is now enabled, and we definitely have a few people in that DRS zone, like D'Angelo, Flying Jippo, and Stanley, all battling for 3rd place right now in this beautiful train as they're coming through turn 1, and now they will have the DRS to assist them in overtaking. Hopefully, Flying Jippo is the closest to anybody right now, but Stanley is closing up the gap as well. So this is just heating up and heating up more, and there goes D'Angelo and
Better
Bam Bam.
exit for D'Angelo.
And there goes D'Angelo still up the inside, using his overtake, but then shuts it off right away. Oh my goodness, a little bit of touching there. Flying Jippo has nowhere else to go. D'Angelo closes the door on him. Now Bam Bam is completely off the track.
Bam Bam's in the gravel. He's off the track, and that has lost him many positions, and probably hurt his tires as well.
TCR Jones and Intent coming through turn 6 here and going into turn 7. That was very tight between the two of them, but they managed to keep it clean there. Stanley is now closing up the gap on Flying Jippo in 3rd place. So the battle for the podium on lap 12 of 36. We're only a third through the race here tonight, and it is heating up very, very quickly. Now Flying Jippo has a good run on D'Angelo. Let's see if he's going to be using that to try and overtake here. He's going to wait into turn 1. He's not going to do it here, but he does have DRS here again right after the exit of turn 1, and now he's starting to close up the gap here, not using his overtake just yet. I don't think he's going to be close enough, but let's see if he's going to go for the dive. He does go for the dive down into turn 3 now, and it is a clean overtake for Flying Jippo and moves himself up into 2nd place, and also has the advantage of DRS, which D'Angelo does not because of where they were at the detection zone.
Very interesting. Yeah, the detection zone did hit perfectly for Flying Jippo, so that got him the overtake into turn 3, but it also got him a little ahead of his rival into 2nd place. And this is crucial for Flying Jippo now, as now he can chase after chase after Asio. And I'm very surprised by Asio. It's a big gap to the drivers behind, and he's on old tires. I'm very surprised as he makes a little mistake as he comes into the pit lane. So Flying Jippo will be leading this Grand Prix. Also got to mention as well, Stanley is all over the back of D'Angelo, and this is going to be super interesting to see how this plays out. Also, Bam Bam making his way through the field, having a little struggles, and I think Intent might be gaining a little bit of time as well. So this is perfect for the top 6 right now. It's top 5 now, as this is going to be a phenomenal battle going forward. But Stanley all over the back of D'Angelo, and this is going to be a phenomenal battle. I think he's going to have to make the move when it comes to turn 4.
This race has turned out to be not what I expected. It is absolutely just heel to heel everywhere here. Everybody's wheel to wheel, and it's just going absolutely crazy here. Nobody's giving an inch to anyone, and we're only on lap 14 of 36, so we've still got 22 more laps to go here, and I have no idea what else we can expect from this one. So far, it has been just action-packed from start to finish. Jones, he's not doing extremely well right now. He's keeping 6th place. I think he might be pitting on this lap. Intent in front of him is pulling ahead, and of course TCR Jones has done 13 laps on this soft tire, and there he goes, moving over to the right side at the penultimate corner and going into the pit lane. So he will be getting a brand new set. Now this is going to be interesting. Is he going to go on a medium, or is he going to go on a hard tire here? It looks like a medium is coming out for him, so he might have a little bit of a speed advantage for the last 18 laps of this race. You having a giggle also into the pits right now, and also going on a soft tire. So again, very nice, interesting mix of strategies all over the grid right now. Yeah, there was Joshua almost losing the car. Now D'Angelo is making a move on Stanley up into second place into turn 4, and that is an overtake. But there comes Stanley running right back at him, coming around the outside now into the next corner. Let's see if this is going to work out for him. It is a nice, beautiful overtake through there, and there he goes up into second place now. D'Angelo loses a position on that one.
Very interesting. Stanley has had the pace mostly this entire race and is now up into second and can pull away if he can do that. And you got to remember too, second, third, and fourth all have the same tire wear, 14-lap medium tires. So very interesting. His intent comes into the pit lane on 7-lap old hards. Very interesting for the Haas driver. Let's see what he does. But quickly before we continue on, I just want to quickly mention we did have an absolutely phenomenal battle for 7th place, or now it would be 7th place, between Chargers, Dre, and M9H, as they almost went 3 wide into turn 3. A little bit of contact with them, but it looks like it played out for everyone. But Intent is going on a set of medium tires. Do you know why he did pit onto those tires? Because he could have lasted those hards for quite a while.
I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what else just happened. D'Angelo unfortunately disconnected from the session, and he's losing a lot of time now. Bam Bam is closing right up to the back of him. He's lost over a second to the car in front now. This is very unfortunate for D'Angelo. I'm guessing having a little bit of a connection issue. Hopefully he can make it back into the session here, but that is moving Bam Bam up into the podium positions now, and yeah, his name has disappeared from the session. Unfortunately, that is a very, very, very sad for him there. So let's see what ends up happening there. Now Aerofizet is trying to overtake D'Angelo now, and he is gonna make that an easy one, of course, with D'Angelo being disconnected. So he's losing a lot of positions very, very quickly. His teammate is gonna be coming up on him next.
And I can confirm D'Angelo has come into the session, but has not joined his car, so hopefully he gets back in his car. Looks like he's actually now just got into his car, so thankfully that is correct, but unfortunately he's lost many positions and has probably lost that 3rd place at the moment, so super unfortunate to see that. And you know this has helped out, is Stanley. Wow, look at this. He's got a huge gap to Bam Bam, who was the next driver behind D'Angelo. So D'Angelo's internet connections has helped out Stanley quite a bit, and now Stanley is into 2nd place. But the thing is that he's going to have to pit. But I want to quickly mention here is that Stanley, Bam Bam, even D'Angelo, all the drivers on those medium tires that they started on, are they thinking of going to the softs? It's possible, and I think that that would really be an interesting strategy for them and might play out for some exciting racing when it comes to these final few laps.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Asio and Jones do 12 or 13 laps now. A couple of those laps were on the safety cars, so you can do probably about 10 laps on those soft tires. So as long as they can make it up into about 26 laps in on the medium, they might have a chance. RC7 and Dre here having a massive M9H Racing and Dre having a big battle here coming up into turn 3 now. Dre running a little bit wide, a tiny little touch there from M9H Racing, almost losing the car on the exit as well. With the DRS open now, lost a bit of time. Dre has lost a bit of time as well. Looks like Ben Swerven has had an incident on the exit of turn 1. So he's pulled out the yellow flag there. He's rejoining on the track now, but there's a couple of cars coming by, so he's going to lose a few positions as well. M9H Racing and Dre not being able to stay together, the M9H Racing losing a little bit of time. So yeah, you mentioned, Broom, that Stanley has a great gap to Bam Bam. Look at the gap from Flying Jippo to Stanley, 6.7, 6.8 seconds now. Flying Jippo is again controlling this race. We have another yellow in Sector 1, I think it was McLaren P1, parked out on the outside on the grass there, but it's all back to normal now again. So yeah, 6.7 seconds now, 6.8 seconds down to Stanley. Bam Bam 2.5 seconds behind them, and Bam Bam has the pressure of Joshua and Aerofizet, both of them on the attack on him right now.
We have a nice battle for 4th, 5th, and 3rd, actually, sorry, with all that. So that's really good. And you were talking about gaps as well. Yeah, Flying Jippo, what a gap he has to Stanley. And if he can pull that out and consistently stay ahead of his rival, that would be absolutely incredible for the Red Bull driver. So great to see it. I want to quickly mention, we've seen in just that last lap, Ben Swerven and McLaren P1 have had some issues at turn 1. Is there something going on in turn 1? We've seen a lot of incidents, a lot of spins there. Not just on the first lap with that incident between, I think it was Chargers and the Haas of Gold Raider at the time, but some spins there too. So it looks like there's some problems with turn 1. A lot of drivers are spinning out there.
I think it might be something to do with the fact that we're allowing the regular track limits, so people are trying to use as much of the curb as possible. And even though the outside of the curb looks like it's solid, it is very, very slippery. So sometimes you catch a wheel or two out there and you put it onto the throttle a little bit too quickly, and it can definitely take you out for a spin there. It looks like Bam Bam is now in a battle with Joshua, and Bam Bam is side by side with Joshua. They are battling for that third position, for that last step on the podium between two different tire compounds. Joshua on that hard tire and Bam Bam on the medium, and Joshua goes up into third place now. So, wow, Joshua and Stanley, both of the Renaults, putting on a great show here tonight. If they can hold those hard tires out until the end, of course Stanley's on the medium, so they're a little bit of a different strategy, but I think Joshua might have a little bit of a chance of getting at Flying Jippo towards the end of the race.
And look at this, Arrow Fist also overtakes Bam Bam. Sorry to cut you off from your sentence there, but yes, Bam Bam has come into the pits now. So very interesting. So Arrow Fist is in fourth, and you know what's interesting here is that the Red Bulls are sandwiching the Renaults right now. So a major performance for the Renault team and Red Bull team as they're with all their drivers in the top 4. So really looking good. Bam Bam's dived into the pit lane for a set of soft compound tires. I want to quickly mention him for a second. He was using a little bit too much ERS, I gotta say. He's down to about like 18% or 6% in between there. And yeah, so Stanley and, Mr. Joshua was able to overtake him and still has enough ERS. So Bam Bam using a lot of ERS now, and now comes out in 13th. Did he maybe play a very good strategy here? Because, I mean, he's on soft compound, and I mean, he's going to overtake... will he overtake Stanley, who's on that strategy of going for a little bit longer? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, in Austria, the strategies could be played any way that you really want. It really just depends on your driving style. But I'm watching this beautiful battle here for all the way up into 6th or 7th place right now. Ossio, Dre, and Chargers are locked up in a three-way battle here as Ossio almost making contact there. Oh, are they going to make contact? They do make contact, and both of them spin out. Both Ossio and, who was it? And oh my goodness, and Dre. Both of them spin out. They have to spin back onto the track there. They almost got collected by some cars that were passing by. Now Jones is having a battle with Ossio here with his teammate up the hill into turn 3. This is still getting spicier and spicier, this race. And there goes really wide Ossio, and Jones moves up into 7th place. Now Stanley also overtaking Ossio up into 8th place, and Ossio lost 2 positions there in just a matter of a couple of seconds.
And Stanley, this is holding it up quite a bit, and this is going to really affect his result here because he's got to get high up there and make sure he's not held up by the 2 McLarens. But so very interesting to see how that worked out with Ossio, and I do believe it was Dre, if I'm not mistaken. They made some contact, and both of them did spin. It's up to the Stewarts to see exactly how that works out, if they deserve a penalty, or if it's just a racing incident. We'll have to see how that works out. Looks like Chargers into the pit lane. He was on hard tires. Very surprising that he has come into the pit lane. I mean, those 16-lap-old hard tires, they are degrading pretty fast, so maybe he's thinking that it might be better just to come out onto a set of soft tires, which he does.
And there was another beautiful overtake on track there in 10th, overtaking Dre Diggy on the start-finish straight. D'Angelo retiring from the race. Or no, he has joined back or left again. Oh my goodness, I think he's having more and more connection issues, which is very unfortunate for him. Dre is now mounting another move on in 10th, who just overtook him a couple of corners ago. But with the DRS exchange here, you go into one corner and the guy behind you has DRS, but then you come up the next hill and you might have DRS on him. So this is why I love this track. All of these DRS zones, they make it so interesting. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. It looks like McLaren P1 is having another issue there. He's just rejoined back on the track now. Oh no, he's still out there at the exit of the penultimate corner. he is waiting for everybody, and that is a great job from him to make sure that he rejoins safely back on track. That is very respectful to all the other drivers here. So Ossio and TCR Jones, the two McLarens, running in 7th and 8th right now. McLaren P1 gets a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane.
Might matter though, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. I think he has had a little bit of an unlucky night here, and he has now left the session. McLaren P1 is our second DNF of the night. Ossio has ZRS on Jones, but that is not going to be close enough. And from everybody else in the grid right now, there's pretty sizable gaps between everyone. I mean, Flying Jippo and Joshua, I think they're separated by about 6 or 7 seconds right now. Quite a massive gap. Aerofizen, 2 seconds behind them. M9H, 3 seconds behind them. Fuzz, 4 seconds behind them. And then there's a little bit of a battle there between Stanley and Fuzz, and also between Jones and Ossio for 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th places. But other than that, with 11 laps to go here in Austria, it looks like Flying Jippo, oh my god, he's 13.2 seconds ahead of Joshua. That is absolutely dominating in another race that is going exactly like he planned, I guess.
Yeah, Jippo's really been very consistent, I gotta say. That is the word for him today. It's been very competitive when it came to just making sure that he aces every single lap, and I think that's something that is very crucial when it comes to leading the championship, and I think that's also why he's been doing so good. I mean, I was just remembering Britain, I do believe, he was leading, I do believe it was in 10th, just extremely leading in 10 and just acing every single lap, so he's been absolutely consistent with not just this race, but the entire season so far. But can't count out other drivers. I mean, like, he could make a mistake. That does happen with racing drivers. Everyone makes mistakes, but hopefully we don't commentate that curse, that hopefully he will be able to continue on like the performance that he's been doing. So we'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, looking for the race win is Flying Jippo, and looking to extend that championship lead. So we'll see how that works out. But quickly, I wanted to really give the shout out to Fuzzliam, who's actually just been overtaken by Stanley there. But still, Fuzzliam did spin, and I do believe it was turn 8 earlier on. He was off in the gravel and super far down, had to pit. He's up into the top 6 and was running 5th. I gotta say, that's a really good performance by him to get back up in the top 6 after that unusual spin that he did have. So interesting to see that as well. And also ACO as well, he also had an issue with the spinning, and he's up into 7th place. So really good job for both of those guys. I just wanted to quickly give that shout out.
But it's not over for Ossio yet, because look at Bam Bam closing up the gap. He has just split the two McLarens just a couple of laps ago, but now he is putting up an attack on Ossio with those soft tires, only 4 lap old. They are going to be putting in some really nice space compared to some old mediums or an older hard tire. But so far, Stanley was the one who pitted for a set of soft tires a few laps ago and didn't really make it too many positions up. He's up in 5th position right now as Bam Bam goes for the overtake on Ossio. Almost overshot turn 1 there. Managed to keep it on track. Oh my god, Ossio touching the grass.
Oh, TCR Jones!
Yeah, TCR Jones going and dominoes pretty much right in between them. Now into turn 3, they almost all come together there. Now they're side by side, Ossio and Bam Bam. This is going to be very close. Bam Bam has, Bam Bam has a really good run down the inside of Jones, around the outside actually, into turn 4 now, and that is going to be an overtake for 7th position. Now TCR Jones has Ossio around him into the next corner, not quite making it work there. But again, this is another battle that has just been going on throughout the whole race here between the two McLarens, and it's not going to be over until that checkered flag comes out, I guess. But Bam Bam moves up a couple of positions now into 7th place. Beautiful overtaking there.
I think that is to be expected by Bam Bam. He is on those soft tires, which we did mention, and so those are going to be much much faster than those 12 to 13 lap old tires that those two McLarens are running. But I gotta say, those two McLarens did give Bam Bam a headache there, as they really made it hard for that Mercedes driver to get past. So well done. And I mean, it's not really over either, because TCR Jones is all over the back of Bam Bam. Can't quite make the overtake. I think that's down to tires. Bam Bam makes a major mistake there, and TCR Jones looks to get past the Mercedes. It's not quite over because ASIO is also involved as well. This battle continues, and it will continue probably for quite a while. Also in 10, closing in as well, but the battle between 7th, 8th, and 9th is not stopping. ASIO all over Bam Bam. It looks like it's going side by side, and it looks like Bam Bam is going to be overtaken by not just one, but both of the McLarens.
Wow, that was very, very quickly back and forth the positions went between those guys, and as you said, now Intent is looking at that battle and thinking, I might want to join that. I might be able to do something about my finishing position if these guys come together. So we will have to wait and see. We are now on lap 29 of 36. 7 laps to go here as Bam Bam is thinking about running up the inside of ASIO, but they're not close enough. Very wide through turn 1 by keeping it together. ASIO now has a good run on his teammate TCR Jones. Up the hill into turn 2 and 3. They come right now, slamming on the brakes and rotating the car.
So close.
Bam Bam there locking up his tires as well. ASIO almost losing the car on the exit, having to correct it just a touch. Now Bam Bam has a pretty good run on ASIO, closing up, but not going to be close enough on this particular occasion. Gonna have to wait for another one. I'll tell you who else is closing up the gap. Stanley, who's in 5th position, the highest runner right now after pitting twice, so he's gonna be, after pitting once onto the soft tire, he is starting to close up the gap on M9H Racing, but with 6 laps to go now, as Flying Jippo has already started lap 30, I'm not sure if he's gonna have enough time to make anything happen there. Bam Bam now closing up the gap on ASIO again as they're coming up to the last corner and on to the start-finish straight. Super wide there through the last corner. Bam Bam completely outside of the apex, and that's something that the stewards might want to take a look at later on after the race. Of course, that is one of the corners that, even though we have regular rules applied to, we are watching for people to use only the curb, and you're allowed to put both of the outside wheels on it, but you can't go completely outside of it. Stanley moving himself up into 4th place now and overtaking M9H Racing. We have a Sector 1 yellow flag. It's RC7 who has had an incident there.
And the virtual safety car has been called out by, I think, RC did get a few damage or something like that. That's why you can see Ferrari damage on the side of the track, and you don't want that in case that could cause a collision with another driver. We've seen a lot of spins there, so yeah, the marshals will be wanting to pick that up, especially if that was a real race. So unfortunate to see RC7 making contact at turn 1, or just making a spin. Quick little note here, Stanley, yeah, phenomenal performance he's had. He's already overtaken M9H and looking to overtake Aerofist for that P3, which will be really good, and he's on soft tires that will last quite a bit. Also want to quickly mention the reason why Flying Jippo is down in 2nd place is because he did pit, and wow, look how, I mean, you were mentioning on that earlier on, that Flying Jippo, what a gap he had. I think he was building that gap to pit and come out in 2nd place just behind Mr. Joshua. That's how close, that's how big of a gap the leader had to the Renault F1 team car of Mr. Joshua. So Flying Jippo, he's going to close up onto that Renault, and he's got soft tires that are brand new compared to Mr. Joshua's hard. So this is going to be a really interesting battle, and you also can't count out Stanley, who's also on those softs and looking to get ahead as well.
And this battle in the midfield is still going on with Bam Bam, ASIO, and Intent and TCR Jones all locked up together. Intent is the one who's closing up. He seems to be the quickest out of all 4 of them. Oh, somebody is off there. Looks like Ben Swerven went completely off the track there. He was spinning in the gravel, so that's unfortunate for him. ASIO, Bam Bam, and Intent still in this battle here as we're now on lap 32. Flying Jippo is only 1.7 seconds behind Joshua. He was 3 seconds behind him when he came out of the pits, so soon enough he's going to be thinking about making an overtake on him and back into the lead. That would be absolutely an incredible performance from Flying Jippo. I'm actually going to go on board with him right now to see how quickly that's going to happen, because I'm sure that's going to be happening in very, very quick succession here. He is already into the 1 second gap now.
Flying Jippo is making up so much time on Mr. Joshua. That's an absolutely incredible. Look, every single second he's taking out a 10th. That's incredible. So I think the reason why is those tire gaps. So he'll probably overtake him about actually right now. Look at that.
Oh, this is going to be very close though as they go into the penultimate corner there, but they made it work. Flying Jippo made a very nice clean overtake down the inside, and that promotes him back into the lead of this race. Stanley now is closing up very, very quickly on Aero Fizzin with 3 laps to go. I know how much it would hurt for Aero to lose this podium, but there's not much he can do. Stanley being on a much newer soft tire, so the pace advantage is just absolutely incredible as now they come up through turn 2 and into turn 3, and that is Stanley up into the podium positions and Aero down into 4th place.
I think it was just something that was going to happen. Stanley had to overtake Aerofist at some point, so that's how it goes. So he is down in 4th, Stanley up into 3rd. Intent finally gets past Asio. Asio went a little bit wide into turn number 3, and Intent just slid past. Meanwhile, Bam Bam is all over the back of TCR Jones for 7th place. We have so much battles, we can't keep up with this. Looks like Bam Bam is going to have to wait behind. TCR Jones is not making Bam Bam's race very exciting. Well, I mean, it's making it exciting right now, but it's not helping out Bam Bam as Bam Bam wants to get up into those top positions and hopefully even catch up to Fuzzlium, but he's got barely enough laps to continue on with yellow flags. I do believe that is the start-finish straight. I do believe, oh, that's TCR Jones.
And Asio went off as well. Both TCR Jones and Asio had some sort of a moment there. They both went off the track. That was incredible. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but they're both down into 9th and 10th now, holding on to the last point, finishing positions here in tonight's race. And then 10th has now an open road to try and mount an attack on Bam Bam because he's closing up that gap very quickly, almost slamming into the back of Bam Bam. That was very, very close. I don't think Intent was expecting Bam Bam to break that hard at the very last second there, but he manages to stay out of the back wing and keeping it together. There's a Mercedes that is spun out at the exit of the start-finish straight, and that is Zegries, who has damage on the front wing as well. There's a piece of front wing laying on the track there. Very unfortunate for him. Not exactly sure what happened there. Intent and Bam Bam still very close to each other, but no overtaking just yet. Zegries now retires from this session.
Zegers has retired, yeah, but I think he just slammed right into that turn 1. Super unfortunate. And you were also mentioning the wing damage of that Mercedes on the front stretch. That might hurt a lot of these guys because they can get punctures from that. So that's how it goes. Hopefully that will get eliminated later on. Of course, we only have 2 laps left. But look at this. Intent is battling Zegers, his teammate. So Zegers is going to be watching his teammate be overtaken. His Intent goes down the inside and in turn number 3. He's using everything. He's actually not using the ERS. He goes a little bit wide. That puts Bam Bam back up into 7th place. And Intent can't do anything about it because Bam Bam has the DRS, and Intent is going to have to stay behind Bam Bam and wait for the very last lap to possibly make up that move and into 7th place for that Haas car. As there's a racing point also off the track, I do believe that is D'Angelo, who has had a very unfortunate events this race.
Yeah, D'Angelo there stuck in the wall trying to get himself back on the track, taking out the Rolex sign, and he seems to be back on now, but that is going to drop him all the way down into 14th place. Very unfortunate from him. Intent is trying to make up that gap on Bam Bam. He's within half a second. Again, this track has so many DRS zones, so many straights where you can close up that gap if you can drive it very nice and clean, and so far Intent has been doing a great job here. Aero Fizzin is just getting overtaken there by M98 Racing. The both of them battling very close there through turn 3, but M98 Racing taking away 4th place. Now Intent and Bam Bam in the battle as well, touching wheels, banging wheels back and forth, and Bam Bam losing the position to Intent now with a DRS, but that was very, very tight there between the two of them. As I said, banging a couple of wheels there a couple of times, and oof, that could have been very unfortunate for the both of them. They're running in 7th and 8th place, so that is a good handful of points. so it could have been good. But Flying Jippo has just finished this race and won. We have actually missed out on that because of all the other battles going on track. Joshua finishes second. Stanley gonna be finishing in third place here for that last step on the podium. M9H Racing gonna finish in fourth. Aerofizen in fifth. Fuzz is gonna come across the line here in sixth in just a second. He started much higher up than that, so he's not gonna be very happy with that, but still a good recovery after having an incident. In 10th, in 7th, Bam Bam in 8th, Asio and TCR Jones, the two McLarens, in 9th and 10th for the last points on the grid here tonight. Chargers in 11th, Dre Diggy 12th, You Having a Giggle in 13th, D'Angelo in 14th, Red Wing Racing in 15th, RC7 in 16th, and Ben Swerven is going to be in 17th place. But the man of the hour, the man of the night here, and so far the man of the season and the man to beat is Flying Jippo with another dominant win here tonight after having making that last second pit stop under the virtual safety car. He still managed to pull out 6.3 second gap on second place. Beautiful job for Flying Jippo. Aerofizzed gets driver of the day, and I think very deserving of that. I'm pretty sure he started around 14th or 13th, somewhere around there. So making up all of those positions, doing very well for his team. And Flying Jippo lifting up that trophy on the top step of the podium tonight in Golden Class Round 8 in Austria.
Absolutely incredible from Flying Jippo. Deserves the race win, and yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible to see what he can do when it comes down to the championship. Really looking forward to see what he does, but a solid performance from him. Really deserves that the top step of the podium. So yeah, congratulations to Red Bull. Congratulations to Renault as well. Second and third, that's going to be really crucial in the championship, and a really good job, I got to say, to both drivers, Stanley and Mr. Joshua, for taking second and third for the Renault F1 team. Really good job for both of them. I'm going to quickly invite the top three in here so we can quickly get an interview, if you don't mind. And
yeah, then, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and again, yeah, Renault doing an incredible job. They started from 11th and 2nd on the grid. Joshua finished exactly where he started, but Stanley making up 8 positions throughout the race. Beautiful performance. Flying Jippo with the best lap of the race as well, with a 104.4 in race trim. That is very, very impressive. We had 2 DNFs in the form of Golderator and McLaren P1 and Zegreast, who actually retired from the race, but is still classified as a finisher 3 laps behind. Other than that, though, what an incredible race that was. We had a VSC, a full safety car, another VSC towards the end, which Flying Jippo used to his advantage to pit and put on those soft tires to re-overtake the lead of the race later on again, and taking another win in this season. This is going to be win number 5 for him this season in just 8 rounds. That is absolute domination. That is what it is. And the champion, or not the champion, sorry, but so far the championship leader is Flying Jippo, and he's with us in the party. Congratulations on another dominant win. And from your perspective, just let us know, I mean, when you pitted for that last pit stop for those soft tires, were you absolutely, sure that you're going to be able to retake the lead?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'm really happy. I honestly didn't even realize that this was my 5th win. You saying that right there kind of just, shocked me, because, my entire other, league racing stuff, I've never ever done something even close to that, and I'm just ecstatic to be able to do that. But your question, the final pit stop, I don't know how the other guys made it to the end of those hards. I don't know if it was my setup was a bit more, tire. Yeah, it doesn't really work well with my tires, but my tires are at like 60-70% by the time I pit, and I was really scared because I didn't know. I thought like a pit stop would be like 22 seconds or 23, and the other guys were like, I think 15 or 14 behind. So I was just, sending it and see what happens, and I came out in like 2nd, which was a really big shock to me. But yeah, once again, I'm just really happy to be able to win this race, my 5th race of the season, and I'm going to try to keep the momentum going on.
Yeah, Broom, did you have any questions for our winner?
I did, actually. So, Flying Jippo, congratulations first on that race. Taking first place must be a very ecstatic performance, a very amazing result for you. And actually talking about that first place and talking about the race itself, how did you feel, and what's your nerves actually, or what's your feelings when you have to be so consistent? Like, how do you make sure that you're hitting every single line and making sure that you're getting enough gap to be able to get within that, to get ahead of your rivals? So how do you feel about that? Like, how did that work out for you?
Well, I mean, it's just, yeah, usually at the starts, my heartbeat kind of goes, you know, really fast, because anything can happen, and, you know, it kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. But after that, once I kind of have like a couple second lead, that starts to go down, and I'm, you know, kind of calm. I just need to take deep breaths and fully send it, and yeah, that's really all it is to it.
Well, you did an absolutely phenomenal job taking first place and extending your championship lead. You've been absolutely incredible. Every time I've commentated on Golden Class, you've always won. So you're always up there, and hopefully you'll continue to do so. So really very good, consistent drive, and very good just pace by you in general. So well done today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to the other podium finishers here tonight. I think Stanley is in the party with us. Stanley, can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, well,
I think you should interview second first, then third.
yeah, okay, no problem. So, yeah, congratulations to both of you in the Renault, doing an incredible job tonight. You pretty much finished exactly where you started. I think you were, what was it, second in the race?
Yep, I was P2 when I finished, so if I wish I knew how to get a good start in this game. I'm fucking terrible at them, but it is what it is, so.
Well, still a really good job here tonight, and from your perspective, I know there was a lot of incidents going on in the race, from, you know, just all over the track, and things happening like VSCs and safety cars. When that sort of thing goes on, do you sort of change your strategy on the fly, or do you already have something that's planned in place in case that's going to happen?
Nope, the plan was a soft and medium, and then when the safety car came out, I think it was lap 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. I made the call to go to the hards to the end. So it's my tires. The last lap heading into sector 3 were at 68 in the front left, 67 the left rear. So I thought I was managing them pretty well. I wasn't worrying about them puncturing. There's an incident just after the safety car restarted. It kind of put us back a little bit, and had us lose Jippo, and once he got far enough ahead, I just managed the tires from there. That's what my race ended up being.
Broom, any questions?
Yeah. First of all, congrats on the podium. You've led the team. Very good job for the team today, I gotta say, for a double podium. Good race from you, I gotta say. A very good race. How did you feel about your race itself? How did you feel about your chances also for the championship as well? Because you're really starting to come through the field. I mean, you're kind of coming through with the team as well, so looking really good. But what's your thoughts for the championship? And also, what's your thoughts going into this race? Did you feel like you had enough competitive pace when it came to racecraft?
Nope, but I'm still getting better. This is my first year without the line, so I'm still learning at that, and that's taken some time. I knew it would. Championship, I'd hope I can get top 4, top 5 at the end of the year. I think top 3 might be a bit of a push, but I think top 4 if I keeps the recent form I've been on versus some of the bad decisions I made earlier in the year. Hopefully that could come around.
Well, really good performance for you, and of course I do believe you're a rookie in Golden Class as well, so fantastic job for you, not just this race, but the whole season, and hopefully the rest of the season as well. So great job from you. You did absolutely incredible, and look forward to seeing you on the podium and hopefully higher up in the championship, like you said, about top 4. Maybe that will happen this year, or maybe later in other TCR Grand Prix. But just got to say thank you so much, and yeah, absolutely incredible performance from you today.
Thanks for commenting, guys. Appreciate it.
Great stuff there. And is Joshua with us as well, or is he not in here?
Nope. That was me. That
All
was
right.
Joshua.
Oh, sorry there. So I guess Stanley was not with us, but we got a great opinion there from all of our podium finishers. Let us know exactly what was going on in the race. It was definitely a very exciting race. I gotta say, you know, it's been a while since I've seen an Austrian Grand Prix that was that exciting, but tomorrow is gonna be a big day. Tomorrow is our TCR Grand Prix, the third running of the TCR premier event. It is going to be very exciting with a different qualifying structure, with a little bit of extra points up for grabs. And so far, the first two were incredibly close. Came down pretty much to the last lap. So definitely join us tomorrow for that. But tonight in the booth for you guys here tonight was myself, BLIN-MACHINE, but Broomhandle, thank you so much for joining us at the last second. We were supposed to have someone else, but
wasn't Stanley in here? I think he's here.
oh,
Yeah.
is Stanley in here?
I do believe he is.
Oh, so sorry. Oh my goodness, I thought Stanley was not there. But Stanley, let's hear from you as well then. How was the race from your perspective? Sorry about that.
Quite messy. But yeah, some the soft tires didn't really help me at the end make up my way up to the field to third.
Yeah, you made up quite a few positions in that one. Was it because of the safety car, or was it just the pace throughout?
The soft tire stint, yeah. Because yeah, I made a lot of moves at the soft tire stint. So yeah, that's how I didn't expect third, to be honest. After a poor qualifying, yeah.
Well, your second podium in a row as well, and second, third finish, so you definitely should be motivating.
Yeah, of course. But I don't think I got a podium last race. So I got yeah, Spain I finished 8th, so not podium, but yeah.
Broomhandle, any questions?
I do have a question for Stanley. Stanley, first of all, congrats on the third place. Congrats to the team as well. You and Joshua scored a double podium for the Renault F1 team. I just want to say real quick, you mentioned difficult qualifying. How did that feel coming through the race? Because we saw you had a really good pace when it came to overtaking and making sure you lasted those tires for quite a bit. How did that feel about that? And also staying on those medium tires. What did you think of your race? And yeah, everything I've asked.
So for qualifying, I don't know. I just had very bad qualifying pace. But luckily I started P11, so I had free choice. And lap 1, I got involved in an incident in turn 1. Got sandwiched by 2 cars, but I somehow got no damage. And then after the safety car, I was P5, and then I thought what I was thinking is trying to be the lead medium tire runner. So I tried making a move on the racing point in front of me, and that's how Jippo got past on the hards. And then we had a good battle for like 2 laps, and then eventually his fresher hard tires overruled, and then I got involved with the incident with Racing Point. At turn 2, I lost the back end of it in turn 3, and it was my fault, but yeah. And then when I pitted for the softs, yeah, I just went as fast as I can and tried to make a position, basically.
Well, it sounds like you had a little bit of difficulty, but then you also had a very good race, especially the result, taking P3 with a very super competitive field here. So well done to that. And your racecraft was really good as well. Your overtakes were really good as well. I was watching that. You did absolutely incredible with everything. So gotta say, really good performance from you. Hopefully you get many results like this. I pray for you on that. And also, good luck for the championship, as it should be a very good race for you when it comes to getting that constructors championship for Renault, possibly, because you guys have been looked really good. And also that getting high up there, you could win the drivers championship. I mean, you're high up in the championship. So good luck for all of that, and just want to say good result for today's race.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now I think we've heard from all of our podium finishers. I do apologize about that once again. But yeah, what an incredible race. A lot of exciting battles, a lot of exciting moments there. And of course, Flying Jippo taking another win here in this season. It is number 5 for him so far and very dominant in the championship lead. So Broomhandle, at this point, again, thank you so much for joining. Hope to see you again in TCR soon.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much for having me. I was kind of last minute thing. I was actually stuck in traffic trying to get here, but it was worth the drive, worth the drive to get here and commentate with you, Blin. It was a thrill and probably one of the best TCR races I've commentated, because I've only been commentating this one season. But I gotta say, it's probably one of the best commentary I've ever done. Not just TCR actually, but of leagues in general. So it was a really good performance by every single one of our drivers. The top 3, of course, of Flying Jippo, Mr. Joshua and Stanley, and of course the rest of the field as well did absolutely incredible. But yeah, what an Austrian Grand Prix we saw here today. Looking forward to the Platinum class TCR Grand Prix for the 3rd edition at Austria tomorrow. I'll be watching that, and yeah, super excited to see that. And also, yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody who's been watching in this stream. There was a lot of people of you that joined tonight. So again, massive thank you to everyone. Join us tomorrow for the TCR Grand Prix and the Platinum class here in Austria as well. Huge thank you also to all the stewards, all the officials, and everybody who's working in the background to make sure that this league works so smoothly every single week. And also a massive thank you to our affiliate sponsor, Fanatec. Check out the link in the description if you want to support the league and also get your hands on some great equipment. But from BLIN-MACHINE and Broomhandle here tonight from Austria in round 8 of Golden Class, it's Flying Jippo and 2 Renaults on the podium. Beautiful performance from everyone. Thank you to all of the drivers in the Golden Class tonight for providing us with all of this exciting action, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.